Capote, Phyllis Diller, Jimmy Stewart, Milton Berle, Rich Little, Reverend Billy Graham, Governor Ronald Reagan, Cliff Robertson, Lorne Green, Art Carney, Sheila McRae, Audrey Meadows, Foster Brooks, Howard Cosell, Orson Welles, Isabel Sanford, Tony Orlando, Wilt Chamberlain, Gabe Kaplan, Freddie Prinze, Sherman Hemsley, Ruth Buzzy, Red Button, Billy Crystal, Angie Dickinson, Senator Hubert Humphrey, Paul Lynde, John Wayne, Jonathan Winters, Tony Fields, Henry Fonda, Vivian Vance, Don Rickles. From the MGM Grand Hotel in Las Vegas, we bring you star-studded highlights from the celebrity roast of Bob Hope, Johnny Carson, Muhammad Ali, Jackie Gleason, Jack Benny, Michael Landon, Lucille Ball, and Dean Martin himself. It's the best of the Dean Martin Celebrity Roast.
Hi, welcome to the ranch. This is where I come to just relax, loosen up. Pretty nice around here, isn't it? And you know, I'm a pretty lucky guy because this is as much fun as working. That's right, some of the best times I've ever had were on those crazy nights we did our roasts. I don't know what you do on your day off, but I'll bet you couldn't have a better time than I've had working at a roast. When you're surrounded by your pals and you're roasting Johnny Carson, it's just like Saturday night in town. For one memorable evening, we managed to catch Rapid Robert between wars. And just to make him feel right at home, we decided to attack him. I played it smart and surrounded myself with some real heavyweights the night we took on Muhammad Ali, but the last round was his, and he still looked good. No one can deny that he's a great fighter. He's got all the equipment, great body, great legs, and he's got a 21-inch reach. That's just his tongue. I'll tell you. I'll call Frank.
Muhammad Ali, I like him because he's a very moral man. He doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, doesn't gamble, doesn't go running around with wild women. If I did that, I could beat up everybody, too. And he's a God-fearing man. Nice to know he's afraid of somebody. See, but Muhammad Ali showed all us kids that it was possible for a poor boy to get out of the ghetto. And that's what my mother always wanted for me. She would say to me, Fred, what's the matter with you? Don't hang around, go to college, be a doctor. Who wanted to be a doctor in my neighborhood? It's difficult to make a house call to a burning house. So she would say, Fred, be a dentist. There's plenty of teeth in the neighborhood. And she was right. They were over there, over there. There's a difference between a black fighter and a Puerto Rican fighter. Like a black fighter come up to you, all right, chump, look out, here I come. Show me your best stuff. Woo! Look at back. Puerto Rican fighter just come out. Okay, man.
Why are they giving this man a roast when some of the greatest black people in the history of the world never got a dinner? They never got a dinner. Sidney Poitier, who once said to Lester Maddox, guess who's not coming to dinner? Never got a dinner. Will Chamberlain's mother, who once said kids don't look up to their parents anymore. Never got a dinner. Uncle Remus, who once said to Uncle Ben, you're a credit to your rice. Pearl Bailey, who said when she was invited to the White House, I'll sing and I'll dance, but I don't do windows. Got a dinner, and certainly one of the greatest blacks of all time, Shirley Temple Black. Got a dinner, but as ambassador to Ghana, she could beat a dinner.
You can't go on fighting forever, Muhammad. I mean, let's face it, you're not Sonny and Cher. Matter of fact, he's so enterprising, Muhammad. One night he called Freddie and I. Freddie Prinze with the house. Remember this one, Freddie? Yeah. Calls up, always creating a new business idea in case it's all over, and he says, Tony, I got it. Me, you, and Freddie are going into a soap detergent business. We're going to call it Spick and Shine.
Before I slam one paisano. They don't have me up here because they weren't someone that was tall, dark, and handsome. They got someone a lot darker. Most people don't realize that you had a physical handicap when you were born. Did you know that Muhammad was a girl?
Hello once again, everyone. Howard Cosell coming to you. We are coming to you live via satellite from Manila, the Philippines, Pearl of the South Pacific. Muhammad, Angelo, get Muhammad over here. Now, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Frazier was incredible. How'd you feel about the contest?
Everybody's talking about Joe Frazier. Don't talk about it. Oh, that's a lot of nonsense. I'm still so fast, and you know I'm so pretty. I'm so fast I can turn out the lights in my bedroom, be in the bed before the room gets dark.
Muhammad, I don't care what any of these detractors have to say. If I was shipwrecked on a desert island and I could pick one man to have as my companion, I'd pick you. On a desert island, you need a man fry.
Talks about you. Everybody wants to see me do something to you, right? I don't want your lawyers to sue me. I don't want the TV company to sue me, but I've been waiting. You always say, Muhammad, you're not the same man you was years ago. Show the people now. Show the American public you're not the same you was 2 years ago.
You want to know the truth? I found him when he was a little black kid in Louisville stealing bikes. I made him what he is. That's it.
You Muhammad Ali, huh? Look like nothing to me, chum.
You want to step out in the alley?
Stand up to me. Stand up, chump.
Can't stand the sight of blood.
Especially your own blood.
Ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. Muhammad Ali.
Some comedians up here
I've heard of guys throwing fights. I'm sure you all have heard about guys that throw fights. But this is the first time that I've seen anybody throw a roast. And Floyd Patterson, you know when I fought you, man, I almost put you to sleep. And with that stuff you talking tonight, you almost put me to sleep. And you are intelligent. You two fighters intelligent. Most boxers couldn't even read what y'all read. I watched y'all read. No kidding. You get George Foreman or Joe Frazier kidding on the pretty. You great. You are really great. I mean, you come here high and you still can make it look good. You don't seem like a man would have a big television show like this and such a world figure, nice looking, and he don't care nothing about these shows. He don't care about the strips. He came in today, hey, champ. How you feeling? That's fine. Got your thing down? See ya. All right, I'm going. Hey, George. He's serious. Everybody's got some type of talent, wholesale. We've made it either being great, or good looks, personality, or connections, or some type of influence, but you are living proof that you don't need nothing to make it.
Here's the great one, Jackie Gleason. I wouldn't say Jackie was heavy then, but it's the only time we ever roasted anybody and had some leftovers. Jackie, you do look beautiful. I won't say you didn't fat, but the June Taylor dancers could use your pants for a dressing room. Jackie went to school. He was a dropout. The floor caved in. Then came Jackie's success on television, The Honeymooners. On that show, Jackie had something special, something magical, something America couldn't wait to see every week. Art Carney.
This is a tough roast I've appeared on this last month. And you know, you do so many of these roasts, you run out of things to say. Like tonight, I feel like Zsa Gabor's next husband. I mean, I know what I'm supposed to do, but how do you make it interesting? This is really a great array of stars. I understand, by the way, that President Ford was supposed to fly in from Washington on Air Force One, but he couldn't remember the number of the plane. He was supposed to be here, too. They looked all over, but they couldn't find him. He was home. I got so much gas, I'm being followed by Arabs.
You know, I worked for Jackie for quite a few years. And you couldn't ask for a more generous, kind, and understanding employer. Because if you did ask, he'd fire you. Let's talk about Jackie's movie account. Not the ones that he was in, the ones that he influenced. One day, he was floating on a raft in his swimming pool, and he rolled over. Some guy saw him. The Poseidon Adventure. He rolled over on land. Earthquake. Reggie Van Gleason, we saw the side of Jackie that was wild, raucous, drunk. A man so desperate for booze that he once tried to squeeze the juice out of Scotch tape.
Being Jackie's TV wife, Alice, it was just marvelous. Being hugged and squeezed by him, it was much more important than you think. It was the beginning of violence on television. Lucky, though, to get to do Alice. Because at this time, although it's not generally known, some of the biggest stars in show business were auditioning for the part. For instance, Jackie told me that Zsa Zsa Gabor was dying to be Alice, and she looked at him and she said, "Ralph, darling, I simply would adore being Mrs. Crandam. Crandam. I don't know what it is, I can't pronounce it, but whatever it is, I would adore, darling." And I would never look at another man. I mean, the way you're built, I haven't finished looking at all of you.
Doesn't the gym look nice tonight? Thank you, Mr. Mott. Now I'd like to proceed my official capacity. Ralph Grandin, I'm here to pay homage to you as legally elected representative of Royal Order of the Raccoons. Somebody walked into the room. I want to give you your raccoon signal. Not to forget the old raccoon handshake. Your raccoon ain't what it used to be, Ralph. What'd you do, Emmett Spade? Tides of emotion are turning. Our reunion tonight in this glorious tribute can only help to up my morale. And knowing how you feel about me, up yours too.
I am the personal physician. Personal physician or injector. While it is true that Mr. Greaseball is a trifle overweight, a thorough examination of him this morning proved true without a doubt. That he is not a slob. He's not a pig. He's not fat. He's pregnant. Bubbly belly here, yet with child. The usual way. Dinner, dancing, a few drinks. He said, "Me have a babe. Me have a babe. Child." He said, "That's inconceivable." Pound for pound, the funniest guy in the world, Mr. Jackie Gleason. Sweet it is.
Phyllis Stella, what a pleasure to see you again. I haven't seen you since Zoo Parade was canceled. Phyllis is so skinny, she once walked by a pool room and they chalked her up. It is great great to see you, Milton Berle, tonight. I've been Milton's friend for almost 30 years. And there are many reasons for that, mostly bad luck. Audrey Meadows. I'm so happy for her. She married an airline executive, and she's doing a real charitable thing tonight. She's turning her check over to a minority group, the Friends of Milton Berle. This evening has been as much fun as watching the Walton family sort cranberries. And there's an old saying that a man drinks to forget. And now that the evening is over, I'm heading straight for the bar.
Hi again, and welcome to the second half of our branding party. You know, all the roasts were special occasions, but one of the nights that was a great memory for me was the night we roasted Jack Benny. The character that Jack had developed over the years was an easy target. The real Jack Benny was a kind and generous guy. I never heard anyone ever say an unkind word about Jack, except in fun. This was a fun night for us, a special roast for a special man, Jack Benny.
I'm going to tell you a few stories about Jack, and they're all true. We've been friends for a lot of years, about 55 years. We've been very, very close friends, and there's a reason for it. I always tell Jack how much I love his violin playing, and he always tells me how much he loves my singing, and that's how we've stayed friends all these years, lying to each other. One night, Louis B. Mayer gave a musicale, and we were all invited. There was Gracie and myself and Mary and Jack. He was going to introduce his new singing star, Jeanette MacDonald. And after dinner, they lined up 2 rows of chairs around the piano. And when Jeanette MacDonald got up to sing her famous song, Give Me a Love Call, a hush fell over the room. And I leaned over to Jack, and I said, Jack, when this charming lady starts to sing, it would be very rude if you were to laugh. Well, she no sooner got the first note out of her throat when he fell down and he laughed and had to carry on again. So he not only ruined Jeanette MacDonald's song, but he ruined Louis B. Mayer's musicale. So you see, I'm not the only one that makes him laugh. Jeanette MacDonald made him laugh, too. And you can't blame him because Indian Love Call is a very, very funny song. Anyway, as I said, Jack, we've been friends for 55 years, and it's time we stop lying to each other. And I know that you despise my singing. Can I tell you something? I still think I sing better than you play that lousy violin.
I'm going to reveal an even more heartwarming secret. And Jack, I hope this won't embarrass you. I really do. Jack Benny saved my life. It's true. When I first came to Hollywood, struggling young actor, one Christmas, I found myself in the hospital, badly in need of a blood donor. And this kind gentleman volunteered. And as I was getting the transfusion, I thought to myself, what an unselfish man. And when I get out of this hospital, I'm going to have to repay him with a $50 present. And about halfway through the transfusion, I thought, Why embarrass him by overdoing it? $25 gift would be less ostentatious. Would you believe it? By the time I had a quart of Jack Benny's blood in, I just said to myself, to heck with it, a Christmas card's good enough.
Hello, folks. This is Jack Benny in New York City with his 1,423rd farewell newscast.
And this is George Burns in Washington.
From Hollywood is my very good friend, to give you all the sports, Mr. Jimmy Stewart. Thank Jack. Thank Jack. Thank Jack. I'm here to and the thing is that it just you see that I just don't understand it.
Why'd you hurry up? He's worse than I am.
Ladies and gentlemen, with great pride, I give you America's favorite comedian, Mr. Jack Benny.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in the most difficult position of any personality that has ever been roasted on the Dean Martin Show, because nearly everything they said about me is true. I'm cheap, stingy, frugal. I was going to say penurious, but nobody on this dais would know what the hell I was talking about. I'm really flattered to be here because it isn't everybody who can be chosen Man of the Week. You have to be listed in the phone book. Now, of course, you all know that the closest friend I have in this business is George Burns. And we're around the same age. Give it or take a couple of minutes. And we have a lot in common. Now, something like this was mentioned earlier in the evening, but we can't help that when we prepare material. We don't know what to say. But the other night, George and I went to see, and I won't mention the picture, and it wasn't. We went to see an X-rated movie, and we both fell asleep. Jimmy Stewart, of course, is a personal friend, and he and his wife, Gloria, are great animal lovers, which you probably all know. And they're on the board of the zoo, the Los Angeles Zoo. So every year around the holidays, Jimmy rings my doorbell and asks me to buy a raffle ticket on an elephant. Now, what the hell am I going to do with another elephant? And I must say, Dean, I really appreciated this evening's tribute. Let's face it, all of us in show business enjoy recognition. And believe me, it wasn't easy for me at first to make it in Hollywood. I can't drink like you do.
I can't act like George C. Scott. And when it comes to Frank Sinatra, well, good night, folks.
The only worry I had the night we roasted Michael Landon was when a guy came on as a singing Indian and really hit a nerve. I wasn't sure I could stop laughing, and Don Rickles was no help. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Now, watch.
Michael was born in the East. He comes from a pioneer strain. His great-great-grandmother came out west in a covered wagon and had 27 children. And believe me, that's quite a strain on any pioneer. While Michael was one of the Cartwrights, he was so busy mending fences, plowing the fields, and branding cattle. There was no time for romance in his life except in one episode. He fell in love with a horse that shaved its legs.
I'm no expert, but I happen to be from a family of cattle ranchers, and maybe that's why I spot certain things on your show that give you away as a city boy. Like the time you tried to brand your cows with a magic marker. And that unforgettable time your daughters asked you, Daddy, what'll you do if we're attacked by Indians? And you told them, don't worry, I'll make them marry you.
Son. Very sentimental. I'd like to say, sit up. Keep your hands off the table. Put the cigarettes in. Put on your shoes. Mike's a little excited tonight. There's no school tomorrow. We all know that we played father and son on the show. And in many ways, that relationship was very real. And it still exists. To this day, he treats me like a father. Never thinks of me. Never comes to see me. Didn't call me on Father's Day. I must say that was wonderful that we all ended up on Bonanza. I mean, there we were, a 47-year-old father and 3 40-year-old sons. I just knew he would make it big because I think it was the first day in Bonanza. He came in and he looked at the Ponderosa and he said, someday, all this will be mine. And then he loosened the brakes on my car.
The MGM Studios recently signed one of Hollywood's greatest film producers to prepare a motion picture that will star Michael Landon, and with us this evening is the producer, ladies and gentlemen, one of America's great filmmakers of Western classics, Mr. John Whitestone.
Business probably shouldn't be mixed with pleasure, contrary to what a young lady told me at the bar before. But this picture we're doing is a must for you. A remake of that great Western movie classic, Wagon Boat, which starred Humphrey Bogart, Gary Cooper, and Robert Mitchum. The opening scene was unforgettable, especially the Indian chief, who will be played by you, said, perché questa certe cose volevi sapere. In la notte, che la notte na cocoyoco, che na chica non notava. Dentro la bagnarola non già stai là. Allora stamattina ci state tre là, e non ci stanno più. Ma chi volete sapere? Chi ha toccato di là? Ma non faccia la There's no towels in the men's room. Why don't you ask him if we can go through the bed? Why don't you ask him when we get to smoke the pipe? All right, I will. Nakasui Kanaka, except that he's one of the Shirakawa, Katsika Chakaha. Singing Indian. He's the best singer in all Muscalero territory. Ain't that wild? I think that's just dancing. Well, if I can't sing it, I wonder what he can sing. She wanna. She wanna. You wanna? Right, I wanna. All right, Chief, let's hear you sing.
Ladies and gentlemen, our man of the hour, Mr. Michael Landon. Let's hear it.
Thank you very much. This has been a very unusual evening for me, to say the least. I'm a little nervous being up here. I'm not a comedian. I'm not used to getting laughs. And I can see that none of you are either. Amanda Blake. Amanda, it's very nice seeing you here, even though I did ask for Barbara Stanley. Lauren was wonderful. It was a lot of good years. Lauren played my father on Bonanza for 14 years. And I'll never forget those days. Never forget the times that I used to wander into the room at night and say, Lauren, please, can I have the keys to the horse? You know, you people out there think you know Don Rickles. I know Don Rickles. So a lot of you people out there, Don is, well, he's first disgusting. He's obscene. And then he's lewd. But to those of us who know him and love him, he's exactly the opposite. First he's lewd, then he's obscene, then he's disgusting. Seriously, this has been a fun evening. You're all of you up here in the day is very big talent. But the fact that you're all big in television doesn't really mean that much to me. Let's face it, television is an invention where you're entertained in your living room by people you wouldn't have in your house.
thought that Henry Fonda was such a nice, sweet guy, but do you know what he said about this lady? Well, you'll see. But it's all right. Lucy, she hits back. There isn't anything this woman can't do. She can sing, she can dance, she can get laughs, especially with her singing and dancing. Well, on Broadway, it was Samuel Goldwyn who saw her dancing in the chorus. Mr. Goldwyn couldn't take his eyes off Lucy. She had something no other girl in the chorus had. Torn underwear. It was while Lucy was under contract to RKO that she met a young Cuban band leader, Desi Arnaz. He soon fell in love with Lucille's style of physical comedy. But enough of your wedding night.
But Lucy's got her problems, too. Now, I happen to know that she wants to dye her hair back to its original color, but she can't remember it. I have tried to look like Lucy. I even use the same beauty cream Lucy uses, but nothing works. You know that ugly skin on your elbows? My whole body looks like that.
I'm going to tell you the truth about Lucille Ball. I knew all her innermost secrets. You see that nice, fresh look she always had over the years? Do you think that's natural? Bourgeois! She sleeps with a baggie on her head! There we were struggling actresses. Lucy used to steal all the drops from me. She did. We're obviously the same type. She even stole I Love Lucy. That show was supposed to be called I Love Gladys. I even had a Cuban boyfriend. You remember? Bibi Ragosa. Look at her, all sweetness and innocence. Everybody thinks that she did nothing but clean and wholesome pictures. Horse feathers. I knew her when she did X-rated movies under her real name. Lucy Lovelace.
But you know, Lucy's always doing nice things, even though she isn't with Desi anymore. She got him a job as dialogue coach on Chico and the Man. He still keeps up the payments on his bongos. I'd like to stay out here a little longer, but I know Lucy has to get up early tomorrow morning. Earl Shive's doing her hair.
Today, Lucy may have her millions, but her rise to fame was an uphill battle. I know this. When Lucy was just an innocent kid of 19, she always had that frightened look of a new girl at a Sinatra party. Did you know that Lucille Ball used to travel with the Kay Kaiser Band? She wasn't a singer, she just liked to travel with the band. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Lucille Ball has worked hard to get where she is today. She was a chorus girl in a nightclub, Hollywood Boulevard, I think it was Trocadero, where every night Lucy did the Dance of the Virgins, which she performed from memory.
I don't know why I'm here. They called me up and said, Tony, we need a pretty face. Look at Dilla. I want you to look at Dilla over there. Look at the hair. Do you believe it? She looks like her head fell in the cheese dip. Stop touching me. Animal! Get a seat tonight in my dressing room before the show. Banging on my door, banging on my door.
I had to let him out. This is the only guy I know who takes vitamin E and Salmonex. So he can sleep through his orgies. All these years, I thought Lucy was such a swinger. When I first met Lucy, she called me up, Tootie, come on over. We're going to have a pot party. You know how excited I got? I'd never been to one of those things. I went over. She was selling Tupperware. Lucy, darling, yes? You have been a big star for many, many years. And it must kill you to see a young kid like me stepping into your shoes.
I know the idea of these roasts is to get up here and insult the guests of honor with a lot of lies. But if you don't mind, I'd like to be a little different. I'd like to tell a true story about Miss Ball. It's insulting, but it's a true story. About 100 years ago, I was sharing bachelor quarters with Jimmy Stewart. And Jimmy was dating Ginger Rogers, and I was insanely jealous because I was secretly in love with Ginger myself. And one night, Jimmy asked me if I'd like to double date with a friend of Ginger's, a young actress under contract to RKO named Lucille Ball. She was going nowhere. Well, we went dancing. And actually, Miss Ball and I were having a great time together. She was a lot of fun, full of laughs, and who knows what might have developed. But you may notice that I'm the only one on the podium that calls her Miss Ball. I was intimate enough to call her Lucy. That's the point of the story. Terrible mistake. Both girls looked ravishingly lovely in the soft lights, and we danced till dawn. But when we came out into the harsh glare of the daylight, the girls' makeup looked about an inch thick, and it was, well, what it was ugly. It's simply untrue what Miss Ball has been telling people all these years, that I went to the gutter and retched. I was just coughing a lot. I'd like to take this opportunity after all these years, because it was a very ungentlemanly thing, to apologize. Miss Ball, Lucy, I love you.
You probably don't remember me. But we go back a long way. Actually, I've known Lucille Ball, man and boy, for over 20 years. And during that time, I consider the years I spent on I Love Lucy to be perhaps the biggest rip-off of my career. I remember when she was head of Desi-Lou Productions, she had a sign on her desk that said, "The buck stops here." I didn't realize at the time that she meant it literally.
What a night! Who are we honoring? And I'm just delighted, I must say, pardon me, I'm just delighted, because I always wanted to meet Henry Fonda. You and Jesse and the Ball with Frank, the whole thing. With Jackie Cooper, you were so good, Henry. God bless you. Now it's time to quit. You are as beautiful as ever.
My wife said to me last night, as we laid in bed, she said, "Is Lucy young?" And I said, "Baby, young is not the point. It's what's in your heart, right, Lucy? Lucy? Put her in a home."
Look at this. The husband went, yeah. Now. I kid. Gary, we've known each other many, many years. And you always said to me, be kind to Lucy. I say the square. Shut up. I hate when a spade butts in. Now.
In front of your door tomorrow.
They can't do nothing because I tap dance.
Funniest two words I know, Lucy Ball.
Thank you. This has really been something. You know, some performers can go through their entire career and never have a night like this. Those are the lucky ones. Of course, I'm not only glad, I'm overwhelmed that Henry Fonda came here tonight. We're great friends, I'm happy to say. We've done 2 pictures together, and whenever Hank was around, the set always came to life. I wish I could say the same for Hank. And Phyllis, darling, although we've never been close, after tonight, I'm sure we never will be. Really, Phyllis, the years have been kind to you. It's the weeks in between you louse yourself up. Milton, darling, it's always good to see you. You know, Milton Berle is an inspiration to all the kids of America. They figure if he can make it, anybody can. Well, Milton, I kid you, really, but you've really given us a lot of pleasure at our house. You never come over anymore. You know, during my lifetime, I've had audiences with the Pope. I've dined with presidents. Once I was an overnight guest with the Trumans when they were at the White House. But being here tonight with people in my own business, I can honestly say how great it was being with the Pope and the President. Good night, everyone, and thank you very much.
Well, they finally turned the tables on me. Taking over my spot as host, Don Rickles proved that behind that warm smile, there's a hothead.
About Dean, he knows how to relax. I remember we did a picture together called Bandolero several years ago, and Dean was forced to jump off a 3-story building. And he was forced to do it. And right in the middle of it,
You probably are related to the original discoverer of America. He too was an Italian. When he started out, he didn't know where he was going. He didn't know where he was when he arrived. And he didn't know where he had been when he got home.
Dean got his start in show business singing with a Sammy Watkins band in Cleveland. He got $7 a night. 9 when he did